friends, today I thought I would talk about all things that are fall comforts. It's a little bit different than what I normally post, but I'm really leaning into the things that are bringing me fall comfort vibes this year. So I thought I would film a bit of a video about it and share with all of you. We can sit down, we can have a little chit chat. You can get your chores done while you listen to me babble about the things I'm loving at the moment. Of course, there's going to be decks and crystals in here, but there's also going to be food, eating and drinking paraphernalia, and books and movies, and a smattering of miscellaneous as well in here. So get comfortable. We're going to have a little show and tell. So we'll start with eating and drinking. It's pumpkin spice season. I know that people are sick of pumpkin spice, except for me, and probably a few of you. So of course I'm leaning into the pumpkin spice flavors that get added to everything this time of year. This year I'm really, as I am every other fall, enjoying the flavored creamer, the pumpkin spice flavored creamer. It only comes out in fall, so I tend to stock up on this one, and it does usually last me into, the expiry dates on these things are alarming, so it does last into the beginning part of, well, maybe the end of November, kind of in that area, but I definitely do enjoy drinking this flavored creamer. They have seasonal ones throughout the year. They had a Love is Blind one that was also really good. It was like a rose flavor. Shocked me how much I like that one. But right now, I'm getting comfort from the pumpkin spice creamer as well as the Starbucks K-Cups. So you're not going to add the flavored creamer into the Starbucks flavored coffee, but when I run out of my creamer, then I have this to fall back on, and then of course you just put regular cream and sugar if that's how you take your coffee. But it's nice to have that to fall back on. And another thing I love having this time of year, it is available all year round. It is the David's Tea Cinnamon Chai Rhubarb. Can't remember the order of those words, but it's another good one. It's not pumpkin flavored, but it is cinnamon flavor, which I do think is a close second in the fall flavoring category. I do think it's up there with things that make me think fall when I'm eating and drinking them. Cinnamon, right up there. Of course, I need a fall mug to drink my fall beverages in. So these mugs, I have a couple of them, but we're talking comforts right now. So this particular mug is the Rae Dunn mug. I think that's what they're called. I found it at Winners a few years ago. It only comes out in fall, but I love it. There's something about a large mug that is very comforting, especially with a large handle. I love a mug with a large handle, and this one is perfect for right now. And it's cutesy, it's not anything crazy, scary. You'll see another mug later on, so you know what I'm talking about. But this one is definitely a comfort mug. Mugs also kind of extend into Christmas time, into the winter time. There's just something about curling up with a warm cup of whatever it is you're drinking, and a mug, I find, really adds to that experience, especially if it's comfy to hold on to. This one is a little on the heavy side, but I'm okay with it. I will sacrifice the weight for the comfort of the mug. And it's just, again, it's something to bring out this time of year. It's a special mug that only gets used this time of year. We do have Christmas mugs as well, but right now we're talking fall comforts, and this is a fall comfort mug for me. I also really enjoy a good apple cider, and I also have been enjoying hard ciders. So I like to visit a cidery this time of year. You can go all year round, but in the fall, there's something about going to a cidery that just adds that something extra to it. And it's apples, fall, again, not rocket science here. So I do think that there is a correlation between them, and it's a fall activity. It's something to do outside of the norm. I don't go to cideries often, but when I do, fall is the time that I think these places really shine for me. The aesthetics, the outdoor look, the smells, it just adds to it. And it's just a comfort activity. And hot tip, you can make a cider mimosa. This is something I discovered a few years ago. I actually like it better than an orange juice mimosa. You just add champagne to your cool, chilled apple cider. It is so good. I can't believe I haven't thought of it before. I don't know where I got the idea, but it's been something I've been enjoying for the last few years. Again, more of a fall thing. It's not something I wouldn't have an apple cider mimosa in the summer or even really in the winter, but there is something about apple cider in the fall, and why not add champagne to it? So hot tip, add champagne to your apple cider, and it is chef's kiss. I'm also a sucker for baked goods this time of year. Something about fall and pie. I don't know what it is, but something about even tarts. They're so perfect for this time of year. Cinnamon buns, sticky buns, also fantastic this time of year. So I've really been enjoying kind of pulling off to the side of the road when you see those little roadside stands of people selling their baked goods. There's also something comforting about home baked goods, but local. So you get to support a local family or a local company. And bonus, this time of year, you can bring this stuff along for Thanksgiving dinner, which we did this year. So we stopped at this cute little roadside stand and we bought a lot of stuff, a lot of canned goods, a lot of jarred goods, also fantastic this time of year, and pie and tarts and a banana bread. So a really comforting feeling. It's not even about the act of doing it, it's just the home baked goods, stopping along the side of the road and bringing it to your Thanksgiving dinner. You don't even have to eat it that night. We ate it the next night. So it's a cute little thing to do that kind of brings warmth and joy, I find, this time of year. And lastly, for autumn comfort eats, I am obsessed with soups. I am on a mission to replicate the Panera Bread butternut squash. I have yet to do it. I'm kind of in a lull with it at the moment because the last couple falls I've tried to do it and it has not been successful. But I did do some zucchini squash soup and I jarred some of it so that it can last a little bit longer. I can put it in the freezer and it'll last a little longer. But again, something about just standing over a stove with the smells of thyme and rosemary and whatever else, the onions even. I know that's a bit of a controversial opinion, but there's something about making a fall soup in the fall that's really comforting. So that's something I've been enjoying the activity of, as well as the benefits of eating. The next category I have is scents. So there are two candles that are an absolute staple in my house in the fall, and those are Macintosh apples and pumpkin pecan waffles. So the Macintosh apples we usually get from Yankee Candle, and the pumpkin pecan waffles we get from Bath and Body Works. Every single year, they're my favorite. I am not a huge scented candle person, except in the fall and in the winter. In the winter, I love cedar and evergreen, like the Christmas tree candles. I could burn those all year round, but I purposely save them for the winter because there is something about a smell that brings you back to that time. It's very fall in this case, but also very Christmassy for the evergreen candles, the Christmas tree smells. So absolutely obsessed with having these smells in my home during the day or when I come home from work or whatever. And these little warmer lights, using those instead of burning the candle really gives not only a peace of mind because I don't have to worry about an open flame and did I blow the candle out, but also it provides a really warming glow. And we put it on a timer, so I don't have to worry if I turned it off or not because it's on a timer. It's automatically turned off. So it's also something that's been bringing me comfort this fall. Watching and reading. So I have a few, probably more than a few, fall comfort movies and series that I like to watch every year. I definitely do enjoy the scarier ones. So Haunting of Hill House is one of my all-time favorite Netflix series ever. But it's a little more on the scary side. So right now I'm talking about comfort movies. So there's definitely some that I watch that aren't included in this video, but we're going to talk about the comfort series ones. And of course, we have to talk about Hocus Pocus. Hocus Pocus is one that I do watch every single year. It's a cutesy one. It is more on the comforting side than the scary ones. But this also, it was released in 1993, so it brings me back to my childhood a little bit, watching this with my friends, getting ready for trick-or-treating season. It's just a comfort. It's the epitome of a fall comfort movie. And along that same line of thinking is Practical Magic, another must watch every fall. I do remember being a little creeped out at some of the scenes, but not in a scary way. But it's definitely one that I have to watch every year. And it was released 5 years later than Hocus Pocus. So I'm now in my mid-teens when this movie was released. And I feel like it just showcases the perfect evolution. You go from Hocus Pocus, which is like a cutesy kid movie, to Practical Magic, where it's more adult. And in my mid-teens, I wanted to be them. I wanted to be those sisters. And, there's a small part of me that believes it's still possible. I know it's not. Let me just have my delusion here and imagine what life could be like if that was possible. So again, it kind of brings me back to childhood, but in a more adult way, and fantasizing about being able to have that kind of life. And it is the perfect fall movie. But the most quintessential fall series that I have to watch every single year, can be watched all year round. I do also watch it all year round, but absolutely in fall, from movie 1 to movie 7, is the Harry Potter series. It is a must watch. I've already done it this year. I just finished about a week ago. I wish I would have stretched it out and made it last a little longer, but I just could not. However, this year, I also decided I was going to read the books. I'm a very bad Harry Potter fan and have not read all of the books. I've read some, not all. So this fall, because I finished my marathon so early, I decided I was going to read the books. But then I heard Audible was coming out with a full cast version of these Harry Potter books. I think it's only going to be available on Audible, and it doesn't release until about the first week in November, I believe. I think it's November 3rd, but I could be wrong. And this cast is stacked. So I had to write them down so I don't forget the ones I want to talk about. We have Keira Knightley as Professor Umbridge. We have Kit Harington as Professor Lockhart, who is from Game of Thrones. We have Iwan Rheon, which is Professor Lupin. He was Ramsay Bolton in Game of Thrones. We have Simon Pegg as Arthur Weasley. So excited to hear that one. James McAvoy as Mad-Eye Moody. Gemma Whelan as Professor Sprout. She was Yara Greyjoy in Game of Thrones. Matt Berry, he's a ghost that wasn't really showcased in the movies, but does have a bigger role in the books. Again, looking forward to diving more into that. Matt Berry is from What We Do in the Shadows. Fantastic. And Hugh Laurie as Dumbledore. He is Dr. House. Also incredibly excited to hear how he sounds as Dumbledore. So I do think I'm going to hold off on reading them and listen to the full cast audio version. I feel a little like a fraud having not fully read the books, but maybe we'll do that next fall and listen to the full cast audio this year. And the current book that I'm reading at the moment, I am so close to being done. I wanted to finish it for this video, but this is the only day I have to film, is Slewfoot by Brom. This I've seen all over Goodreads. I've seen it all over Fable. Everyone's talking about the must-read book for fall. So I decided to pick it up on Audible. I'm listening to this one, and I am really enjoying it. It's witchy. It's absolutely witchy. It's based in the 1700s on a woman who is accused of being a witch. I'll just leave it at that. So it does kind of have fall feels in that sense, but it's not giving what I would like out of a fall season book. But it's still really good. I'm happy to be reading it at this time of year, but I could also read it any time of the year and get the same feel from it. It's not necessarily something I feel stands out more in the fall. I understand why people are saying that, but for me, it's just kind of like a normal read. I think when you regularly read these kinds of books, maybe it's not a fall vibe, but I am really enjoying it. And like I said, I was hoping to have a full review by the end, or by the time I filmed this video, and I'm just not quite there yet. So close, but I am enjoying it, and I'm not sure which direction it's going to go right now. It could go either way, and I'm really excited to finish it. So that's been a fun read so far this fall. Crystals. I have a handful of crystals that I have been really drawing on this season. Some are staples and some are, they change out season to season. So I think I will switch to a top down so you can get a better look at what crystals I'm using, and I will explain what they are and why I'm using them. The crystals that I tend to use in the fall, or be drawn to use in the fall, are protection crystals, grounding crystals, and then a smattering of ones that just give me fall vibes. So for protection, I usually have some form of black crystal, which is for protection. This I find I'm really drawn to this time of year because the veils are thinning, so it's just a little extra comforting to have a protection crystal on me. This one's obviously a little on the large side, so you can sneak them in with jewelry. This is a black tourmaline, and this is black onyx. So there's lots of ways you can sneak them in, but a black crystal for protection is, in my opinion, a fall must-have. Same with smoky quartz. It's also a protection crystal. Smoky quartz is also really easy to incorporate into jewelry. So here we have a tiger's eye and smoky quartz bracelet, along with a matte tiger's eye bracelet. So smoky quartz and any black crystal for protection is really good for this time of year. Another one I like to keep around me that also is really handy in jewelry form is hematite. This one is for grounding. Again, with that veil feeling a little more thin this time of year, thinning out a little bit, it's nice to have something to kind of bring you back down and ground you. So hematite is another fantastic one. In here, this is all neatly packed away because I just packed it away for my Thanksgiving weekend. We have a tiger's eye, we have amber, we have a Lemurian and some Diamantina quartz with a couple more tiger's eye. So again, tiger's eye is just, for me, it's the aesthetics this time of year. It's got that brown, those warm honey caramel tones. Tiger's eye is really good for addictions as well, like your self-empowerment kind of thing. So tiger's eye, again, is really good to have on you for that purpose, but also it is just aesthetically pleasing this time of year. Same with the amber. I just find it's aesthetically pleasing to carry, and it does bring warmth. Like it's a very warm crystal. Again, the honey kind of whiskey tones that amber has, it is a really fall feeling kind of crystal. Another really easy one to carry because it's so light. It is really fragile though, so just be careful if you're tossing it in your purse. But again, you can sneak it around with jewelry, as my amber ring here. Amber is another really easy one to get in jewelry form. But the one I've been really drawn to, again, aesthetically, but also for its properties. So this really helps facilitate tolerance and patience, but also connecting you to earth, which I think is a great part of fall. I really love connecting to earth in the fall. So this has been a fantastic one that I've been loving carrying around. This is the only Septarian piece I have. I don't have any jewelry, so this bad boy does have to either come with me in my pocket, which really stands out, or I keep it in my purse. So Septarian, this is limestone, and the brown is aragonite, and that is yellow calcite. So again, aesthetically pleasing, but also functional for me at this moment in time. So those are the crystals I've been really working with this fall, and they've really been bringing me comfort. Decks. So I have a lot of tarot decks that I like to use in the fall. For some reason, my collection seems to have more of a fall aesthetic than any other season. But again, we're talking about things that are giving me comfort. And these decks are the ones that I have really been drawing on to bring me into that comforting space. And that's what this video is about. So we're only going to really talk about the decks that are giving me comfort at this moment in time. And again, fall is there's something about fall that brings me back to tarot, and these decks are where it's at for me in this moment in time. So again, we'll switch the POV to the top down so that you can get a better look at the 3 decks that I'm working with right now. The decks that have really been bringing me joy and comfort this fall season are these 3 here. Now these 3, it's normally more than 3, but again, I'm talking about comfort. So these 3 have really been comforting me this fall. So I talked about my Harry Potter watching, my yearly Harry Potter marathon, and wanting to read the books. So this particular Harry Potter deck really does bring me comfort. I have another Harry Potter deck that's a little bit darker, but this one, with its cartoony and the colors, it is a little more on the comforting side. It's a little more easier to take than the other Harry Potter deck that I have. It still does give all the same Harry Potter energy that the other deck has, but this one's softer and it's cutesy, is more comforting. So this has been the Harry Potter kick as far as tarot decks, that it's been scratching that itch. There we go, scratching the Harry Potter itch. And just again, really cute, really comforting, not too much emotionally. It's like the other one, I find it does bring up a lot of intense emotions, whereas this one is less intense, more cutesy and comforting. Like I said, we're going for comforting vibes here. The next deck that's also very cutesy and comforting is the Oak, Ash, and Thorn by Three Trees Tarot. I don't think that this one is any mystery here. It is just really cute and adorable, and I find it's quite gentle. So although there are some, it can bring some sad emotions with some of the images. Same with the Harry Potter deck. You think of those moments and it does bring you back. But this one I just find is gentle and sweet and therefore comforting, but also is able to deliver the messages it needs to deliver to get that message across. This one I use every single fall. That's the time this deck shines, and I always bring it away up north with me because that is the setting we have before us, and it's just so fitting to bring up north for my Thanksgiving weekend. It's the perfect deck. Fall feels, but also sweet, gentle, and comforting, and it's stunning. The artwork also brings me joy in a very comforting, soothing way. So of course we have the Three Trees Tarot deck for fall comfort. And lastly, we have the Seasons of the Witch Mabon Oracle. I do have the Seasons of the Witch Samhain Oracle, which is fantastic, and I do love it. However, like I said, we're going for fall comforts, and I find that the Samhain Oracle is a little more spooky season oriented, whereas this one is a little more gentle. It's a little more folk art. The artist did change after the Samhain Oracle, so this one does give me folk art, which also kind of makes me think fall for some reason. So we have this folk art style going on, and the colors are just perfect for me right now and what I'm wanting out of a deck. And it's pairing really well with those other two. Even the Harry Potter one, it still works with the Harry Potter deck. The colors are a little different. We've got some like, not pastels, but like purples and stuff happening in the Harry Potter, whereas this is definitely more warm tone. The Harry Potter is cool tone, but it still works, and the messages are exactly what I'm needing to hear. Again, the Samhain has great messages as well, but it's a little more spooky season time, whereas this is more comfort fall season time. So this has been absolutely lovely to work with right now, and I don't even want to put it away and get out the Samhain, to be honest. I really want to continue working with this, but the Samhain is a favorite. So, and maybe my vibe will change. Maybe we'll be out of that comfort and start to get into that, okay, let's get into the shadow work. Let's get into that darker interpersonal work, which you can still do with this deck. But like I said, the color palette and the folk art style are bringing me that comfort that I'm looking for right now. So those are the 3 decks that I'm using right now for a comforting vibe. And our last category is just miscellaneous. So I just have a mishmash of a few things I wanted to discuss, things that are bringing me comfort and joy this time of year. So I thought I would just toss them in at the end and talk about them for a minute. I find that creatively, I start to come alive again in the fall. And maybe that's because the summer is busy. You know, you're going away for weekends. There's a lot going on. It's just, it's hot outside. It's more time to spend outside. You're not really spending time doing creative things. So I find this time of year, I do tend to come alive and start to pick up some hobbies a little more. And one of those hobbies is photography. And I really like to take photos of inanimate objects. So I like to do these little setups. I like to do little photography setups, and that could be of books, of food, of whatever it is I creatively decide to work on in that moment. It's usually a really random creative spark that happens, and I am up and getting the supplies I need, and I am doing it right then and there in that moment. And it's really something that brings me comfort and joy for a couple of different reasons. So I get to go outside and be outside in the more tolerable temperatures. You know, setting things up like this outside, I would be dripping sweat in the summer. So now it's more tolerable. I can move more at ease, and I find the desire to do it is there more so in the fall than it is in the summer. But also it's comforting that I get to come back to my creativity. You know, I feel like it's still there. I still have that desire. I still have that need and that want to be creative. And sometimes throughout the year, I have these moments where I'm like, I haven't picked up my camera in I don't know how long. And it gets to a point where I have friends and family who will ask, are you still into photography? Yes, I'm still into it. So it's nice to come back to that creative headspace, and it is comforting to me, not only because you get to be outside and, like I said, the more tolerable temperatures, but the comforts of fall, the smells, the crunching leaves. It's the sun has a different hue to it almost in the fall. It's just more gentle and it's more comforting, but also bringing me back to that creative headspace that I feel like I come alive with. So that's kind of it's a dual bonus for that kind of creative project and photographing inanimate objects. And I do feel that I've saved close to the best for last, but these are something that I look forward to busting out every single fall, and it is my fall Crocs. These are so much fun. My friends make fun of me so much for these. Now it's getting a little chilly for open-toed, I know, so I do kind of pick and choose when I can wear these when the weather is still working. But here we have my fall Crocs with my fall Jibbitz. Some of them glow in the dark. There's not that many. I like to keep it sort of simple, but these are a fall comfort for me. Again, I don't bring them out any other time of year. They stay secluded until fall, until it's their time to shine. So my fall Crocs, I love them so much. I love my little glow in the dark skeleton man. He is my favorite, and it's perfect. So these are absolutely a fall comfort for me. And that is it. That's what's bringing me joy. Those are my autumn comforts this year. Like I said, I just thought we would hang out and talk about things that are bringing me comfort. It's a pretty hectic time in my life right now, so I'm trying to remember to slow down and enjoy the little things that bring comfort, like a fall mug, something as small as that. So thanks so much for watching, and I will see you when I see you.